Okay. Okay. Yeah. Things are nuts. I do have a food vlog for yesterday. I'm going to attach it to this vlog. So when I'm done talking and all this other crap, I'm going to put 2 food vlogs. Today's and yesterday's. But not in that order. I'm going to put yesterday's and then today's. Woo! Okay. That's 1. 2. Look, even my skin, like I'm breaking out and stuff. Because my whole schedule has been screwed to the maximum. Which is fine. You know, like that's part of life, is readjusting. Just saying, it's been insane. More vlogs in the car. Because that's when I have time. Yeah. So, headache update. And fibromyalgia update. Fibromyalgia, I've been doing better for about a month and a half. Recently, I had kind of a lapse, a relapse, or I call it a flare-up. So I realized, I knew yesterday I was not feeling good, but I didn't know what it was. And then this morning when I woke up and it just hurt to move and to like, I mean, it just hurt all over. I was like, oh, it's a fibro flare-up. At least you know, right? You kind of go through and you assess the situation and move on. So that was good. You know, during a fibro flare-up, it just takes me a lot longer to get going in the morning. And it's kind of like hard to go through the day, but it is totally possible. It is possible to live a life. It's not necessarily, I can understand why people don't work full-time, because it made me perpetually late, and it made me, like, it's really hard. It's really hard, because you're, like, always late, and always running a little bit behind, and always doing, a little, I don't know, it's like, it's a weird situation. You know, I know, like, I wasn't working to the best of my ability. I wasn't, well, I mean, I was working to the best of my physical ability at the time, but not to the best of my mental ability. Just a lot of that kind of stuff. So it does kind of affect work, and I can understand that. Yeah, so that's my fibro situation right there. For now. There's a flare-up. It's, right now, I would say it's about moderate. It's not mild, it's not bad, it's moderate. And then, a headache. I am having much better days, and on average, it is much, much better. But if you watch the videos from before, it has a lot of room to improve still, because I went from having a headache like 24/7, a pretty severe headache that would just get so bad it would make me almost pass out. It would give me auras to where the vision was coming and going, and then it would just recede to like a normal headache. So I am much, much better. I have not had any near pass outs in 2 weeks. I had a couple of days straight with no headache. I am back to having one kind of like creep in, but it's still so much better than it was. So thank God. And I'm just going to keep working on, you know, doing all the things I can to reduce stress, and, you know, because they say that stress can make all that worse. I know it makes fibromyalgia worse, and it's such a weird situation, because it's like those things make it to where you can't work, like, migraines with auras. Like, I mean, I don't even know how people work with the headache pain, but I mean, I got through it. But the aura, like the vision coming and going, is both scary and dangerous, and makes it pretty impossible to work. So I don't even know how, I don't know. It's like, it makes it to where you can't work, and then you're not working, so you're starting to stress about bills and life, and it just kind of is like a vicious cycle. But, you know, in fibro and in the migraines, I find that stress is a trigger, and so I'm working really hard to not worry. not my nature. Anyway, so that's my headache update. A little bit more about homeschool. Some of you guys are homeschooling, and that's awesome. And I'm looking forward to being able to take the channel in that direction also, in a linear direction. It's always going to be about weight loss. That's going to always be a part of my life. Weight maintenance and stuff like that. And I plan on getting a tummy tuck eventually, so that will be a part of the channel. But along with that, you know, I'm going to be taking it into a linear direction and also having homeschool stuff and the different odds and ends and challenges and stuff like that, which I think is going to be great and fun. And I did want to talk a little bit more about that. Davey Loses Weight was like, yeah, you know, I think you're doing what's best. Thanks, Davey. But because of a bunch of different situations. Well, it's funny because I have two girls. They're a little bit less than 2 years apart. And the oldest is a by the book, rules were made to be followed, life is black and white, straight A genius. And she really is. And it's kind of weird to say that because I'm like, everybody thinks their kid's a genius, but she really is amazing. Her mind is incredible. She's gifted and talented, and you know, she got all advanced on her LEAP test, and she's just really amazing. And she was there wasn't really an honors program in the younger grades. There was an advanced class, but it couldn't go very much further ahead than the other students. So she was kind of spinning her wheels a lot. And she was going to GT for 3 hours once a week. So it was like she wasn't getting very much. And so this is kind of cool because it allows her to grow and expand exponentially without being held back by everybody around her. So that's cool. Also, she's very sensitive. And there were days when bullying and just ugliness that kids do really would affect her, and she would just be overwhelmed with it. And it was like, that's not good for her. And I used to really get mad because she was in 3rd grade last year, and aftercare was something we had to do for them because I worked, because we both work. So they go to aftercare, and you have 3rd graders in there with 5th graders just chilling in a big room together, and the teachers are taking walks and stuff. And so like there were just some exchanges and stuff that I was like, I'm not comfortable with that. 3rd grade and 5th grade are 2 very different grades, and I'm just not comfortable. Flip that. I have, she's now in 2nd grade, my 1st grader, who is very smart, but she is, rules were made to be broken. The world is not a black and white place. It is shades of gray. And she quickly learned that it is faster and more immediate to get attention by not listening. So she was kind of a little bit of a behavior issue. And then, you know, it was really hard because at home, it's like, no, you need to behave. But at school, they were like, well, if she can't behave for 5 days and earn a reward, maybe we should only make her behave for 2 days. Well, what you just now taught her was that by not listening, she got the bar lowered. And it just continued to happen like that. And what was happening with her, even though she's an extraordinarily bright child, was that by allowing her to choose what she paid attention to, she got kind of behind. So I'm really excited about being able to bring her up. She is already doing immensely, ridiculously better. I'm so proud of her. But so that's what we were dealing with, like the 2 extremes, and that is part of why we decided to homeschool. The other reason we definitely did it now was that because they were an aftercare program, they had to you had to prove that you were working full time. Well, I wasn't working full time, so they were going to have to go to a different school. They were going to have to switch schools, and then if I get better and I go back to work, they have to switch again. And I was like, that's just not fair. We'll just homeschool them, and if this is what we do, this is what we'll do. And if I go back to work, then they just go back to the school they know, and it's good. So there you go. That's how it came to be.